The ad hoc committee on recession was set up by the House of Representatives to consult and interact with all relevant bodies towards quickly exiting the recession. And this time, the nation's head of economic management team, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and some members of the team received the committee at the presidential villa. Speaking on the need for political leaders to use their positions to effect changes that would benefit the citizenry, Vice President Osinbajo said leadership was a call to service which must be taken seriously. The Vice President said the federal government remained committed to achieving its objectives on the economy, especially as it affects liquidity issues, including meeting of all its obligations to contractors. Vice President Osinbajo explained that there are policies underway to encourage state governments to increase generation of internal revenue. Corruption, he observed, is another issue that must be fought headlong by all, including the legislature. The committee, after the meeting, which held behind closed doors, were optimistic and confident that the presidency is on the right track towards revamping the economy.
We are on the same page. Some of our suggestions have been acknowledged to be the way they are thinking, and some of our suggestions have been innovative. And by the grace of God, Nigerians will feel the effect of this committee and the effort of the federal government very soon.
At the end, we want to arrive in a position where Nigerians are happy with the government, because we are all in the government, both the parliament and the executive.
The key word from the committee is for Nigerians to be patient for the manifestation of the various steps by government and other stakeholders.
We have a lot of resources. All we need to do is to wake up. When there are challenges, it leads to innovation. It is when you are hungry, you remember that you have something around the corner of your house that can be turned to food. Nigerians should be patient with government, and by the grace of God, we shall be out of recession.
The visit boils down to the fact that all hands must be on deck to get the nation back on its feet. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has reiterated the present administration's commitment by proposing a new way of doing business based on understanding the problems of oil-producing communities.
Heard of the oil wealth, and they've only heard of the wealth and the prosperity that oil is able to bring. Most have never benefited from that wealth. The story of devastation is everywhere, especially as we've heard even today from the elders, the youths, and the women, of the severe environmental pollution and environmental damage and the deprivation that is going on in those places. In many places where you have farmers and fishing communities, many of these have lost their means of livelihood. So I've come today, as I said, on behalf of the President Commander-in-Chief, with cabinet colleagues and heads of government agencies, to propose a new way of doing business with the oil communities, a new vision, and also to signpost a new era in our dealings and relationships with the people of the oil communities in this state and in Nigeria as a whole.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on the town hall meeting on Niger Delta states. The Senate has confirmed 45 of the 47 non-career ambassadorial nominees presented to it by President Muhammadu Buhari. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayano reports that nominees from 2 states have been dropped for security reasons and old age.
While presenting a report on the screening of the nominees at the plenary for consideration, the Chairman Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Mansurat Sumonu, said certain requirements were taken into account while assessing the nominees.
Namely, appearance, composure, presentation, special skills, issues of diplomacy, and general knowledge.
At the Committee of the Whole, the senators confirmed 45 of the nominees after being satisfied with their qualifications, characters, and general performance. The nominee from Ondo was rejected on grounds of security report by the DSS, while that of Imo State was rejected on account of old age. Some senators commented on those rejected.
He's strong. He visited my office severally. I'm surprised that he's being rejected on the basis of age.
I've read what is written about the Ondo State nominee, number 45 at page 44. And the analysis of his appearance for me, it's contradictory to the conclusion.
Senate President Bukola Saraki called on nominees to be exemplary in their behavior at their various places of postings and reiterated the need for proper funding of Nigerian embassies across the globe.
So I think that to be advisable as they are being posted, that government can ensure that they can clear the outstandings that are due on this mission. We wish them all the best and hope they continue to do great service to our country.
Raising a point of order, Senate leader Ahmad Lawal expressed great concern over the spate of terrorist attack on the legislature across the globe, citing the recent Westminster mishap in London as an example.
Terrorism is no longer a local issue of any country, but that all terrorist attacks on any one country is attack on all who cherish freedom from oppression and the right to live free.
Report of the Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act was also considered. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
A new regional director and representative to ECOWAS of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Jean Bankole, has presented his letter of credence to the Nigerian government with a pledge to stimulate growth among small and medium enterprises. Momso Damien Detti has details.
Receiving the regional director on behalf of the federal government, the Minister of Foreign Affairs expressed Nigeria's willingness to collaborate with UNIDO.
We are trying in the government to diversify, and of course our main objective is the industrialization, of our country.
Jean Bakol was also at the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to discuss areas of intervention.
It identifies energy as something we must solve. Then it gets down to industrialization.
The new UNIDO representative to ECOWAS and regional director of Nigeria, Jean Bakol, said the new country plan will be initiating incentives to attract investments and stimulate growth among small medium enterprises with a view to building capacity among youths while promoting eco-friendly industries.
To leverage, the industrialization, in particular, to set up a number of incentives which can help the SMEs to develop.
UNIDO is to come up with a specific framework geared towards capacity building and Nigeria's economic development. In Abuja, Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
The National Commission for Refugees will collaborate with USAID Northeast Initiative in rehabilitating internally displaced persons in the areas of capacity building and system strengthening. Federal Commissioner Sadia Umar Farouk stated this during deliberations with the USAID group. Ilyasu Ali Yakub reports.
Clear that the Nigerian military has won the war against Boko Haram insurgents, but the task of rebuilding devastated areas and rehabilitating the IDPs remain a big challenge. That is why the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is seeking possible ways of assistance to rebuild affected areas and give the IDPs a sense of belonging.
More areas of collaboration, how we can partner, to see how we can, address these issues in the Northeast.
On the forceful deportation of Nigerian refugees in Cameroon, the Federal Commissioner expressed concern over the ugly trend. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
The National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, John Odige Oyegun, has met with the APC caucus of the House of Representatives, commending the legislators for the cordial relationship between them and the executive. Chief Odige Oyegun, who spoke to newsmen after a closed-door session with the members, said the meeting, which deliberated on national issues, was fruitful.
The fact that the House has been very, very supportive of government, of the party, and we had cause to congratulate the Right Honorable Speaker and members for the way so far they have been behind.
Meeting lasted over 2 hours. The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has commenced another round of training for staff towards meeting its mandate of providing excellent television broadcast to its teeming viewers. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that the training is is taking place at the corporate headquarters of the NTA in Abuja.
Trainees drawn from all departments were addressed briefly by the Executive Director Training and Capacity Building, Ibrahim Damisa, who represented the Director General, Yakubu Ebon Mohammed. He urged them to make judicious use of the training opportunity as they will be assessed based on their performances.
Management places very high premium on this training exercise. And I want our staff to be dedicated to it, to be committed to it, and to be very truthful, be very frank. This training exercise is going to be continuous because you that are being trained will be fanned out to the zones to ensure that the training percolates to the grassroots.
The 4 core areas that the staff are being trained are audio, vision, camera and lighting.
Techniques of shooting the packages, maybe longer establishing shots, etc.
The trainees are working in clusters for their practicals.
The impact on the NTA stations, a set level of broadcast standards. Everybody will be working to the same standard. The graphics packages will be the same standards. Every edit in every show will look the same, giving more content and giving better technical experience. The overall output would be better quality control.
The training is part of the revolution of the present management of the NTA in order to remain at the top of broadcast stations in the country. Adebola, Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has flagged off the construction of Kwara State University's postgraduate campus with a promise to enhance access to functional basic secondary and functional education for overall development of the state. Abdul Hafiz Alaya reports that the campus situated in Ilorin would incorporate KWASU's School of Business and Governance.
The growth of any society, according to Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, largely depends on the quality of its human capital, and it is in recognition of this that its administration is committed to developing education at all levels. He explained that the establishment of the Kwara State University's postgraduate campus is in line with the original design of the school as multi-campus university and in tune with government resolve to ensure functional education for sustainable development. Governor Ahmed, however, assured the timely completion of the project, which will be funded under IFK, along with OC and Ilisha Baruba campuses, as well as other capital projects captured in the 2017 budget.
Under the current economic climate, funding this project has only been made possible through the remarkable improvement in our internally generated revenue, IGR. Let me also emphasize that this project and other planned at Kwara State University are strategic to the overall development of the state.
The Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Abdurrashid Nahla, and other contributors described the groundbreaking as a worthy investment to further position KWASU as a world-class citadel of learning. The KWASU Postgraduate Campus is the second fresh project to be funded under IFK to the tune of 450 million naira and scheduled to be completed within 4 months. In Ilorin, Abdelafiz Alaya, NTA News.
Socio-economic activities in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, were paralyzed for several hours following a mass demonstration by primary school pupils in solidarity with their teachers over non-payment of salary arrears. Joseph Zanagambo reports.
Hundreds of primary school pupils in the early hours of Wednesday barricaded some major roads of Jalingo metropolis, displaying placards carrying various inscriptions and chanting solidarity songs, protesting over what they describe as insensitivity of government towards the welfare of teachers. The situation, which led to obstruction of traffic flow, saw motorists taking alternative routes to get to their destinations. Speaking to NTA News on their grievances, some of the pupils and teachers expressed concern over the nonchalant attitude of government towards the overall welfare of teachers, particularly the non-payment of their salaries.
To pay our teachers, it has entered our bone marrow. They should pay us our salary. The government have to come out and tell us the truth, what is happening in the state.
The protesting pupils were at the government house to register their complaints. The state's deputy governor, Haruna Manu, who received them assured of the state government's determination to pay their outstanding salaries. Meanwhile, the Taraba chapter of the Nigerian Union of Teachers has disassociated itself from the protest by the primary school pupils. The deputy chairman, Garba Yusuf, condemned the use of innocent children for the protest. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
This is NTA Nationwide. Improved electricity situation in Lagos. Details and more with Jennifer. It's over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Nigerians who have just returned to the country from Libya have appealed to the federal government to launch a campaign to dissuade others from traveling out of the country illegally. They made the appeal after they were received by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Lindeleke reports.
155 returnees from Libya were assisted back to the country by the combined efforts of the relevant agencies in charge of displaced persons. Before their return, most of them were charged with various immigration offenses and the harsh maltreatment they were subjected to while in Libya.
If you not go, no go, no. If you the type person, I don't know since how many months when I don't chop better food. I dey tell you true. Food that person, that one head of coffee, not they die for big food. 1,300 people go eat.
Supposed to move to Europe. That was 2016 April, but the cash was first time I go get my boat capside.
Many people are in underground prison. Some are in private prison. They will kidnap them, ask for ransom.
The returnees had to undergo profiling in order to ascertain the authenticity of their identity. Deputy Director Search and Rescue, National Emergency Management Agency, reiterated federal government's efforts at ensuring the safe return of Nigerian citizens. He also gave a breakdown of Nigerian returnees from Libya since 2016.
7,000 Nigerians have been assisted by IOM back to Nigeria from various countries.
Are attempting to make a lot, some of them failing, of course, or not failing, ending up in Libya in various circumstances, and so we again are very happy to bring them home.
And those who need to be reintegrated, those who need to be reunified with their families, those who need counseling, we take them in for a period of like 90 days, which is the maximum.
In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Now to legal matters. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has again adjourned to the 27th of next month the continued cross-examination of witnesses in the case between the former Acting Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Callistus Obi, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Justice Mojisola Olatoregu gave the adjournment following the receipt of a letter from one of the defense counsels on his health status. Tunde Saiki has more.
At the resumed hearing, a counsel from one of the chambers of one of the defense counsels, Mr. Kuti, told the court that the cross-examination cannot continue due to the absence of the lead defense counsel, Wale Akoni SAN, as he was said to be ill, and as such, another date should be fixed for the cross-examination of witnesses. Kuti further told the court that a letter to that effect had been sent to the court previously, and other counsels were duly informed. The other counsels did not object to his submission. The judge, Mojisola Olatorogun, frowned at the delay caused by the state of health of one of the defense counsels, describing it as inappropriate. The judge then adjourned sitting to the 27th of April 2017. The accused, Callistus Obi, and 3 others are standing trial over 136 million naira fraud belonging to NIMASA, which was allegedly stolen in August 2015. When he served as the acting DG in Lagos. Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
That's all others are from Lagos. Back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Nationwide News.
Thank you, Jennifer. We'll now take a break to bring you some messages. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Diocese of Abuja, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion invites you to the Way of the Cross program 2017.
Theme, the power of the atonement.
Date,
Monday 27th March to Sunday 2nd April 2017. A week of transformation.
exposition and ministration
At the Cathedral Church of Advent, Life Camp, Gwarimpa, Abuja.
at 5 p.m. daily. Ministering are the Most Reverend Edmond Akanya, the Right Reverend Undukoba Henry,
The Right Reverend Dr. William Alade Kugbe, the Right Reverend Jolly Oyekwe, the Right Reverend Adewale Sunday,
the Right Reverend Ekwe Johnson,
Right Reverend Idris Adozuberu, Professor Jerry Ghana,
Lady Jerry Nluichi, Venerable Collins Babalola.
Venerable Dr. Emeka Ezeji.
They'll be counseling on special prayers by anointed servants of God on daily basis. Host, the Most Reverend Nicholas D. Oko, Primate, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion. Come and experience freedom through the cross.
Money is sweet, but how sweet it is depends on a few variables like how ready you are to handle the many troubles and goodies money brings your way.
The whole of Enugu will know that show my son has arrived.
But most of all, the sweetness of money depends on if it brings you peace or not.
No be the same Lagos where your sister picking there, where you there.
I'd like to know your name and have your phone number if you don't mind.
Oh, my name is Jumoke. My number is 08053.
Not you. Talking to Beautiful right here.
My Pekin Don Hammer. Another milestone episode in your rib-cracking comedy. Professor John Bull.
Be a bird for me. Fly to Mali with like a kilo, what you would call like 2.2 pounds of powder.
And showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Everybody reads. Who said he should start from that? Who said he should start from that?
I like my school because they gave us free uniform. I like my school because the teachers can teach. I like the teacher and I like how they teach.
This is the new Imo State, where education is free. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
When Kayode Kukoyi was a year old, he contracted the poliovirus, which attacked his nervous system, leading to irreversible paralysis. Now a grown man, husband and father of 3, he's struggling to make ends meet as a Keke Napep driver.
Every day, I risk my life for my family so that they can live better. My life is worth 2,000 naira a day.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kirian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Nationwide. The Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation has explained that it does not have the authority to award contracts. But as with all award of contracts in government, the presidential initiative on the Northeast Pine contracts were awarded following strict compliance with public expenditure and procurement processes. This is contained in a statement signed by the Director Press, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bolaji Adebiyi, in reaction to Friday's front page publications of The Nation and Punch newspapers captioned SGF to explain how fake firms got 1.3 billion naira contracts and grass-cutting probe contracts awarded to 20 ghost firms, Senate panel, respectively. The statement therefore advised the media to report fairly, be mindful of government structures and powers of functionaries, as the SGF is not even a member of the tenders board. Outcry over increase in cases of rape in Sokoto, as we join Zainab for details of this and other stories. Over to you, Zainab.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome. The police in Sokoto State have been challenged to intensify efforts towards arresting the rising cases of rape against women in the state. International Federation of Women Lawyers Sokoto State Chapter made the call during a courtesy visit on the State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Abdul Qadir. Safia Abdullahi completes the story.
Cases of rape appears to be on the increase in Sokoto State in recent times. Just last week, over 10 cases of rape were reported in different parts of Sokoto metropolis, which are still under investigation. Speaking during the visit to the Commissioner of Police, the chairperson of FIDA, Aisha Abdullahi, stressed the need for a concerted effort to be made at tackling the rampant cases of rape in the state. She remarked that police and other stakeholders also have a role to play in the protection of women and children against all forms of violence and discrimination in the society. Responding, State Commissioner of Police Muhammad Al-Qadir commended FIDA for its effort in the struggle for the right and protection of women and children across the country. He gave the assurance that the police will continue to support and cooperate with such bodies as FIDA in tackling social menace, particularly rape in the society. FIDA was established in Sokoto State 7 years ago and has since been involved in championing the cause of women and children in the state. In Sokoto, Safia Abdullahi, NTA News.
Governor Atiku Bagudu was among hundreds of Muslims who attended the funeral prayer of 22 traders who lost their lives in a ghastly motor accident at Girom Masa on Koko Yauri Road. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports that the governor led a delegation from Kebbi State government to condole the entire people of Shanga and Yauri local governments over the loss. The report.
The accident that claimed 22 lives and 8 others hospitalized occurred on Monday night when a Toyota Canter vehicle carrying the traders tried to avoid potholes and hit a motorcyclist who also died on that spot. The vehicle fell into a ditch and caught fire as a result of inflammable substances that include petrol jerrycans and other stuff. Briefing the governor, the sole administrator of Shanga local government, Alhaji Garba Salihu Takware, said the vehicle conveyed traders from Tungarigio market to Dalenrua on their way home when the incident occurred. The remains of the victims were buried in mass grave at the scene of the accident in accordance to Islamic rite. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu similarly paid condolence visit to the Emir of Yawuri, Dr. Muhammadu Zayyano Abdullahi, at his palace and prayed Allah to guard against reoccurrence of such incidents. The governor also visited Yawuri General Hospital to sympathize with the 8 victims who survived with injuries and provide financial assistance for their treatment. Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Talking sports now, Coach Gernot Rohr says he's satisfied with the Super Eagles' 1-1 draw against Senegal in London, and over 6,000 athletes in Akwa Ibom Sports Festival. Dane Sani has more sports update.